The price of everything has gone up. Food, fuel, rent. We know that the pandemic and war in Ukraine have played a big part in that, but it's also because companies are charging us more than some people think they should be. A report from the New Zealand Council of Trade Unions found that over half of the inflation that Aotearoa has experienced during the cost of living crisis has come from companies increasing their profit margins. So what gives? Well, I want to explain to you at my little market stall where I'm going to try and sell you this apple for $1. After I've paid the farmer for this apple, deducted taxes, and applied the cost of running my business, I have 6 cents of profit. But here's the thing, that's almost double the amount of profit needed when you consider how much it costs to run my stall and how reliably I can sell my product, because everybody needs food. The New Zealand Commerce Commission found this to be the case with New Zealand supermarkets. Their profit margins were almost 6%, while the Commerce Commission say they only need to be 2.5% to be both profitable and sustainable, which means this apple doesn't need to cost you $1, it could cost you 97 cents. It's a small discount on this apple, but when you think about the millions of people shopping around New Zealand every day, it really adds up. The Commerce Commission found the New Zealand grocery industry makes $430 million a year from this practice, which they called excess returns, and you might have heard called excess profits.
It's profoundly immoral for supermarkets to be taking in this much profit while people are struggling to be able to afford places. And it's not just supermarkets. We're looking at how much profit banks are making, in terms of our energy companies. But it's getting to the point where everything is stacking out. It's too much.
Foodstuffs and Woolworths, the owners of New Zealand's major supermarket brands, say there's nothing excess about its profits, saying these margins are in line with the profits of supermarkets internationally and necessary to grow its business and offerings to customers. But it's not just your groceries. While New Zealanders have struggled through a cost of living crisis, many of our essential industries have been making record profits. Our major energy companies made $1.3 billion more in profits in 2022 than the year before, while the banks made $7.17 billion, 17% more than the year before. And there were periods last year where fuel companies were doubling the amount they made per litre. There's no laws being broken here, and I mean, it is in a business's best interest to try and make as much money as possible. Some economists and business analysts argue that these profits are important to make sure a business can weather difficult economic times like now and have money available for things like climate mitigation. While other economists and consumer advocates argue that these businesses are taking advantage and making a bad situation worse.
Well, I think businesses do need to make profits to exist, but they do also often have social responsibilities. So, if they're making excess profits, then usually means somebody else is paying for it.
Food should be a human right.
So why is this happening? Well, there's a bunch of factors, but one of the big ones is that there just isn't enough competition. Here's how competition might help. Let's say I'm trying to sell my apple for $1 with 6 cents of profit. So the stall beside me reduces the price of their apples to 99 cents with 5 cents of profit. Now everyone's shopping there, so I make my apples 98 cents. This continues until businesses are all operating at the lowest prices possible while still keeping their businesses profitable. But that's not what's happening in New Zealand right now. There aren't enough stalls, and so businesses are still getting customers despite them all having high prices. Another reason is that New Zealand has little rules or enforcement on how businesses operate. In fact, New Zealand ranks #1 on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, which essentially means that we have the fewest rules and restrictions for businesses of any country in the developed world. So what can we do about it? One proposed solution is a windfall tax, where businesses' excess profits would be taxed at a higher rate, encouraging them to invest in things like climate mitigation or a better experience for customers. On a wider level, experts say that we need stricter laws, industry oversight, and the ability for customers to more easily challenge businesses when they think they're being treated unfairly. And if we go even bigger, we could look at our current economic system and ask ourselves if it's fair and equitable for everyone, and what we could change to make it so.